Find the sum to n terms of the following series. Let us begin. Now here we have a oscillating series. The first term is positive 1 squared. The second term is negative 2 squared. Next term is positive 3 squared followed by negative 4 squared plus 5 squared minus 6 squared. As we can see here, these signs are changing. First it was positive, then it became negative, then it became positive and became negative. So that's why it's referred to as an oscillating series. Now, our goal will be to find out the sum to the nth term. So let's say as we represent our nth term as Tn. Now, what about the sign of Tn? Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? Now, it could be either of them. Now, that depends on the total number of terms that are present. For instance, let's say we have one case when n is even. That means there are even number of terms. If n is even, then definitely the last term is going to be negative. Let's think about it in this particular way. If we consider even number of terms, for instance, let's say we have 4 terms. That 4 being an even number, the last term is always negative. If we consider 6 terms, the last term is negative. Considering 2 terms, the last term is always negative. So that means that if we consider even number of terms, then Tn is going to be negative, which means that we can rewrite the series as 1 squared minus 2 squared plus 3 squared minus 4 squared added to 5 squared minus 6 squared, going all the way up to the last term. So here we have Tn, and this Tn is going to be negative. We also consider the previous term, which is going to be Tn minus 1, and this is going to be positive. Okay, now let's pair them up, pair 2 terms at a term. So here we will consider 1 squared minus 2 squared. This is going to be one pair. Then the next pair, that's going to be 3 squared minus 4 squared added to 5 squared minus 6 squared, all the way up to the last term. Now what is Tn minus 1 and Tn here? Now if we try to find out the general term or the last term, this is simply going to be n squared. That means the second last term is going to be n minus 1 whole squared minus the last term, which is going to be simply n squared. So this is going to be one pair. Now we have difference of 2 squares. The difference of 2 squares, whenever we have a squared minus b squared, so it can be factored to get a minus b times a plus b. Fine. So let's use this. We have 1 minus 2 multiplied to 1 plus 2 added to 3 squared minus 4 squared. So we have 3 minus 4 multiplied to 3 plus 4 added to 5 squared minus 6 squared. That's 5 minus 6 multiplied to 5 plus 6. And then we have the last term. So we have n minus 1 minus n multiplied to n minus 1 plus n. Fine. This is going to be equals to 1 minus 2, that's negative 1. 1 plus 2, that's negative 3. Then we have 3 minus 4, that's negative 1. And 3 plus 4, that's 7. The next term will be 11. And this is going to continue all the way up to the last term, which is going to be negative 2n minus 1. Okay, we are going to now take negative as the common factor from each of the terms. So we have 3 added to 7 plus 11 going all the way up to 2n minus 1. This is going to be positive. Now we're going to rewrite each of the terms. So 3 can be expressed as the sum of 1 and 2. So let's say this is 1 plus 2, that's the sum of 3. Then we have 7. 7 is going to be the sum of 3 and 4. Then we have 11, so that's going to be the sum of 5 and 6. Fine. So we reach the last term. So we have 2n minus 1. So 2n minus 1 will be the sum of n minus 1 and n. Fine. Now what we have here is the sum of the first n terms of n natural numbers, and we have a standard formula for this. So that's given by n multiplied to n plus 1 divided by 2. So this is going to be the final sum. So that means if we have even number of terms, then the sum of the series all the way up to the nth term, that will be given by negative n times n plus 1 over 2. Okay, now let's go to the other case when our n is odd, and that means we have odd number of terms. Okay, the odd number of terms means our first term, that's 1 squared, next term is negative 2 squared, plus 3 squared minus 4 squared. This is going to continue all the way up to the last term, which is n squared. Now, when we have odd number of terms, we know then the last term is going to be positive. So here, if we consider the first 3 terms, so 3 is an odd number, so the last term, which is the third term, that is positive. So that means our last term of the series, which is n squared, that is going to be positive, and that means that the second last term, which is n minus 1 whole squared, that is going to be negative. Here also we're going to form pairs. So we'll have 1 squared minus 2 squared added to 3 squared minus 4 squared added to all the way up to. Now what we'll do, we'll also take the second, we'll also take the pair that is previous to that of n minus 1 squared. So that will be n minus 2 squared. So it is going to be forming a pair with n minus 1 whole square. That means the second last pair, and we will be left with the last term, n squared. Since there are odd number of terms here, so one of the term is not going to form any pair, and that is going to be the last term, which is n squared. Okay, everything else remains the same. So 1 squared minus 2 squared, that's going to be negative 3. 3 squared minus 4 squared, that's negative 7. Then we have negative 11, and this keeps on going till we get negative 2n minus 3. And then we have the last term, that is positive n squared. Okay, now we'll take negative as the common factor. So we have positive 3, but that will become 1 plus 2. Next term will be negative 7. When we take negative 1 as the common factor, we'll be left with positive 7, but we are going to rewrite it as 3 plus 4. Next will be 5 plus 6, going all the way up to 2n minus 3, and that can be expressed as n minus 2 plus n minus 1 plus n squared. Now, what is 1 added to 2 plus 3 all the way up to n minus 1? This is giving us the sum of the first n minus 1 natural numbers. That means from 1 all the way up to n minus 1, there are a total of n minus 1 terms. So that means if we sum this up, this is simply going to be equals to n minus 1 multiplied to n minus 1 minus 1 divided by 2. Right. So we are using the same formula as this formula. All we have to do is replace n with n minus 1. Okay, now this is going to be n plus 1 added to n squared. So let's combine them. Now we have negative n minus 1 times n divided by 2 plus n squared. Taking 2 as the common denominator, now we have negative n squared plus n plus 2 times n squared. And this is going to finally give us n squared added to n over 2. Or we can say we have n times n plus 1 divided by 2. When n is an odd number, then the sum to n terms will be positive n times n plus 1 over 2. If n is even, we have negative n of n plus 1 over 2. So this is going to be the sum up to n terms of the given series.